Good morning, everyone. What's going on? Michael Pasha here. I wanted to do this video and shoot this live to talk about something that I think is really, really powerful that too many people are not taking advantage of. And what this is the power of a podcast, the power of podcast marketing, right? Being able to grow your business, being able to grow your personal brand, being able to be seen as an authority in your niche, being able to grow your network, and all that with a podcast. So many of you know that I have a podcast called Internet Ballers, and with this podcast, essentially what I do is I've been interviewing on a weekly basis. I interviewed internet business owners and talk to them just kind of really about their business, how they got started, what exactly they did to start their business, how they became successful, what all the trials and tribulations that they went through, to really kind of share with everyone kind of what it takes to become successful in this particular niche. So people all over the map in the internet business space, coaches and consultants and Facebook ad agency owners and affiliate marketers, you name it, right? But the great thing about the having the podcast is what it allows you to do is have access to people you wouldn't normally have a reason to talk to. So for me personally, when I first started my podcast, I had no network at all in the internet business space, right? Didn't know anybody, didn't have a reason to talk to anybody. But then once I launched my show, getting those first initial guests was really, really tough because no one knew me. Again, I didn't have a network. But what I did was I said, okay, once I start the show and I get some momentum going, I can use the show to grow my network even bigger. So one of the first things that I did to get kind of an initial guest on my show that would really be able to, I could use that person's name to get other guests, was to go to a conference. So one of the first people that I got to be on my show that a lot of people knew about was John Lee Dumas. Right? So what I did was I found out a conference that John Lee Dumas was going to be at. I bought a ticket to that conference. I upgraded to a VIP package. They had a party for the people who were in the VIP package, and I went to that party specifically for the reason of finding John Lee Dumas, talking to him, and then asking him to be on my show because I knew that that's how he got started. He went to a conference. Jamie Masters introduced him to a whole lot of people that she knew in her network, and that's how he got his first kind of few people to start Entrepreneur on Fire. So I said, hey, this guy did the same thing. I can kind of bring that up to remind him, hey, this is how you got started. Throwing a little guilt trip in there. Nothing wrong with that. And the thing about that was once I got John to commit to being on the show, the door kind of opened for me because I could use his name going forward. Every single person that I would meet, I could say, hey, I want you to be on my show. Someone that you know personally, John Lee Dumas, has been on the show too. And automatically they gave me validation, right? Then people were like, oh, if John was on his show must be really good. So I'll be on the show too. And then I just was able to snowball the network from there. And I can meet one person after another, after another, after another, and build this huge network of people in the internet marketing space. So you can do the same thing no matter whatever niche you're in to build up a network. And the important thing about that is, one, everyone, you should know the power of networking. If you don't know, one of the most important things about having a network is there's always people out there who you need to not only, you need a network to help you build your brand. Like you want to have champions out there who are in your niche who can talk you up to other people they meet. Someone asks them, hey, do you know someone who can do this particular thing? And the first name that comes up is yours because you're in the network. They know you do really well, do really good work. So it's not just you promoting your brand, but you have a network of people promoting your brand as well, right? The other thing about growing the network is that you have people you can partner with. So if they have something that's going on in their business that you can sort of leverage for yours and you can help each other out, then it allows you to have access to whatever might be happening in their business that can help you out. So in the affiliate marketing space, what a lot of people do and what I've done is leveraging other people's email lists. So if I have a product that I want to push out, and let's say I want to go beyond just my email list, I can talk to someone in my network and say, hey, let's do a partnership. I'll give you X percentage of the sales if you send this out to your email list as well. And that way, not only do I have access to the people on my email list, but I have access to the people on this other person's email list as well, right? So you can do this really in kind of any niche that you're working in, but it's just the power of doing that. The other thing about it is it helps you build your personal brand, right? Because when you have a podcast, you are seen as an authority. And especially when you have a podcast and you're interviewing people that a whole lot of other people know really well, then you're even more seen as an authority because they see, like, you know, it's like you get kind of the authority juice of all the people that you have on your show, because people see you associating with these other people they see as individuals with authority, and the authority kind of gets, you know, automatically transferred to you. So you build up your personal brand, you start getting seen in the marketplace by potential customers as someone with authority because of who you're associating with your show. You can get reach out there, you can promote your products, you can promote your services, and then also the great thing about it is you can also learn so much from the people that you're interviewing on the show. Like for me, one of the great things I do with my show is I figured out, okay, what does the audience want to learn about? What are they interested in? And I would ask those specific questions to the people that I was interviewing. But more so than that, I said, hey, I have questions myself. What do I want to know about? So let me go and find someone specifically that I know can answer a question that I'm interested in, and go put them on the show and ask the questions that I want to know about, right? Perfect opportunity for me to get, you know, 30 minutes to an hour of someone's personal time and just pick their brain, right? So it's a win-win. You get to provide value to your audience, and in addition to that, you get to learn yourself. So it's just a great platform. And so the other thing that's great about having a podcast is it just allows you to have access continually to a whole lot of things. Like I would be able to go to conferences and just go to all these different events and meet people, you know, out in the marketplace, and just always have a reason to talk to them, right? So if you ever go to a conference and you're like, oh man, like I want to talk to this person, but I don't have a reason to. What I did was I printed up shirts that had the logo of my podcast on it, and every time I went to a conference, I would wear my shirt. And that would always be a conversation starter. Oh, what is this? What, you know, my podcast is called Internet Ballers, so my shirt was the Internet Ballers, you know, podcast shirt, had my logo on it and everything. And people would ask me about it, right? And then I had a great conversation starter. And then I also had the opportunity to talk about my podcast and segue that into conversation. So it's another great way to start conversations, and I can, you know, show different associations and who I associate with. So it's just a great kind of avenue that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of. To grow their personal brand, to get their name out there, to grow their network, especially if you're struggling to grow a network. It's just such an awesome way to do it. The beginning part is tough. The beginning part, and this is the thing that scares a lot of people away, is a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there. They're you know, worried about how their voice is going to sound. They're worried about having everything, you know, be perfect, having the perfect audio equipment, having the perfect setup for everything. And for me, when I got started, you know, I found out a decent microphone that would work for me, which is the ATR 2100. It's an Audio-Technica mic. It's like $80 on Amazon. I bought it. The sound quality is amazing for the price. You really don't need anything better than that, unless you really want to have. You can buy more expensive mics, of course, but that gets the job done. And a lot of people in the podcasting space use that, right? So really, all you need is your computer with some recording software. I recorded all of my interviews over Skype, so I didn't have to do anything in person. I did a couple interviews in person, but for the most part, they were all over Skype. The only reason why I did the in-person interviews is because I happened to be in the same place with these other people, right? So for me, it was just, you know, something that I really enjoyed doing, something I had a lot of a good time setting up. So if you're looking to set up a podcast, I really encourage you to do it, and just kind of come up with some questions. Make a list of people that you would really want to interview, like your dream list of individuals, and that probably won't be the you know, your first guest on your show. What you'll probably have to do, because with a lot of people who are big influencers in a particular space, is they want to see, before they agree to be on a show, they want to see that you're actually that you're going to be committed to this, right? Because a lot of people start podcasts and YouTube channels and all this other stuff, right? And they ask other people to be on the show, but the problem is someone's like, well, I don't want to waste my time being on your show if you're only going to stick to this for, you know, a month or two, and then you're going to quit. And then that way, all the time that I put into doing this interview goes to nothing. So they want to see you're going to stick with it. So a lot of times what you want to do is get, you know, a list of initial guests. And what I did is, at the time I was in a mastermind group, I asked all my mastermind group members who all had businesses. I mean, none of them were doing like super big in their businesses, but they all had businesses so they could talk about it. I'm sure all of you have people in your network that you could reach out to who would agree to do an interview to kind of get yourself started. And then once you have the show started and you have a regular cadence that's happening with the show, then you could do the same thing that I did. Go to a conference, find someone very specific, find a reason to talk to them and ask them to be on the show. And you may have to do that, 2 or 3 times, to get that one person. But then once you get that person, you can use their name to, grow your network continually. And then once you have the show going, I mean, your brand can grow. You can, have the people on the show promote whatever your brand is, whatever your products are, all that sort of stuff, and then your network just blossoms from there. So I'm a big fan of podcast marketing. It's another thing that a lot of people don't think about and a lot of people aren't doing. So if you want another resource to be able to help market yourself, grow your brand, get your name out there, grow your network, even if you're not even really interested in necessarily growing your brand, if you just want to have a bigger network, I mean, a podcast in any sort of niche is a great way to do that. So those are the benefits of really having a podcast. There's a lot more that we could talk about if you have some questions. So if you have any questions about growing a podcast, what you should do, equipment, format, any of that kind of stuff, drop a link in the comments below this video, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Yeah, thanks again for coming and watching the video. And I appreciate your time, and let's keep in touch. Talk soon.